All right, welcome to Whiteboard Wednesday. Today we are talking about web design. There's a lot that goes into web design, but I want to talk about your home page and what happens as soon as somebody lands on your site. Did the hard work to figure out how to get them to your site, whether it's social media marketing, whether it's Google Ads, whether you're investing in SEO, it doesn't matter. They come on your site. And the first thing you need to answer, there's 3 questions you need to answer immediately. You have 3 objectives. The first one is, where am I? You need to let them know immediately where they are, because if you don't answer that question immediately, they will hop right off of your site and go somewhere else that will answer that question. Where am I? If you're an HVAC company, you want to make sure your header talks about HVAC. You want to make sure your pictures have air conditioning or heaters or furnace or whatever. You need to have like that split second, yep, I'm on the right site. Question number 2 is, can this site help me? This obviously is very important to answer. You need to let them know how you are willing to help them. And you have your header and your hero image, basically a little bit of text, and right away you want some sort of a button, whether it's like a contact me now or click for a free quote, whatever it is. You want to be able to say, listen, I can help you. All you have to do is connect with me. In most cases, visitors to your website will likely be looking for some type of service. And so immediately you are offering them your solution. It's just like, did your furnace quit? Or stay cool this summer? You need to use those phrases that are like, you're solving my problem. Thank you so much. All right, and objective number 3, where do I go next? This, again, is very important. Where next? They do not want to spend time searching, looking, figuring out how to connect with you. You need to make it abundantly clear. Again, the buttons will help. And you also have to stick with your best practices when it comes to web design. Think about your website. You have your homepage, your logo here, and then you have your menu. And your menu might be like services, about, whatever you're going to typically have. And the last button either has to be a contact page or a quote page. I would even suggest both if it works for your business. Why is this important? Because everyone knows how to navigate sites. When you kind of change it up and you don't follow best practice, it doesn't work for us, because we have been for years on sites which have these essentially a template or a layout that we like to follow. So again, if you confuse people, you will lose them. And I don't know how many times I've exited out of a website because I don't know, these people can't help me. And maybe it's because it's just unclear messaging. It could be because they're not following best practices. And a lot of times when people make their own websites, they just make mistakes that web designers shouldn't make. You want to be able to keep them. Those 3 objectives, where am I, can you help me, and what is my next step? Those are the 3 questions you need to answer. The trick is you need to answer them immediately. So as soon as they land on your page. So your computer's like this. So that's your computer. These are your keyboards. And so you'll have your logo, your menu, and then here's your hero image and your text. They might not scroll down. If you're not answering, they're not searching, they're not scrolling down. This is the page they're immediately looking at and seeing, hey, does this work for me? As soon as they click on your site, don't ask them to do anything else. Don't ask them to scroll. Don't ask them to go to page 2. Don't ask them anything. You answer these 3 questions immediately. As soon as they jump on your site, it's going to be in there. And again, there are lots of ways to be able to answer this. Let's talk about how do you answer. I kind of touched on it, but let's go a little bit deeper here. Number 1, text. There are a few rules when it comes to texts or content. Do not use industry lingo. And I'm very guilty of this. A lot of times I'll be like, oh, SEO or SMM, which is social media management. SEO is search engine optimization. Well, I know what I mean because I'm in the business. When I talk to my employees, they know what I mean. They're in the business. Or when I talk to my friends in the business, we can use those little acronyms and stuff. We know what each other is talking about. But I'm not reaching them. They are not my target audience. I'm reaching regular people who are just like, I don't know, I need a website. Make sure you have different keywords that people understand, that people are searching for. And there's maybe a whole other video, a Whiteboard Wednesday video on keyword research. But for now, you just want to make sure you're speaking plain language that connects to the individual. You're asking yourself, why are they on my site? Well, I offer heating and cooling solutions. That's what you're going to be talking about. The next thing, which I talked about, pictures or photos. These are great because our brain processes pictures quicker than we process words. So if you, again, let's keep with this HVAC example. If you're an HVAC company, you want your images to be very, very clear. Now, what is not clear for someone who's not in HVAC? A picture of the inside of an air conditioner. Never have seen that before. Never will see it. Don't really care at all. What's clear? People sitting cozy on a couch with a fireplace in the background. You really think about the images you're choosing when it comes to your web design. Now, if you have a blog or if you have a later page that's a little more in depth and you're going into maybe the process of how you fix things, that's a whole other situation. But again, we're talking about that 2 seconds of chance you have. So they land on your website, you have like 2 seconds to hook them in so they stay on your website, explaining perfectly and clearly and without industry language your text, and your photos are going to be exceedingly painfully clear. And sometimes this is what people say. They're like, we don't want those images. They're so plain. Everyone uses them. Well, everyone uses them for a reason. And again, all the websites we're always on, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Adidas, whether it's like these billion-dollar companies, they're training us how to use websites. And when we go to a regular local business website, we still expect them to follow those rules. These are 2 clear ways, text and photos, where you can really speak to your customer, your potential customer, very clearly. All right, so that sums up this Whiteboard Wednesday video. So